Hello, welcome back to Weekly Wildlife Wisdom. As always, I'm your host, Zero Yeti. Let's go and get into it with our first amazing animal. The Lowland Tenruk is a 5-inch long tenruk species, native to the lowland rainforests along the east coast of Madagascar. They can be distinguished from other tenruks by its two main features, the first being a rather long, black-colored nose, which is longer than that of most other small-sized insectivores, and the other feature being their black-colored coat displaying yellow stripes and bright yellow spine crests located over the top of their head. These act as a means of self-defense against predators. The Lowland Tenruk species is the only sociable tenruk species where gathering into groups consisting of up to 20 individuals. All of these will work together when hunting to tackle worms and other large insects. Breeding takes place during October to December, depending on local food supply and temperature. The gestation period lasts around 58 days. And then the female gives birth to between 5 and 8 young. The young are weaned after 18 to 25 days, and when an individual lowland streaked tenruk is aggravated or threatened, it will erect its quills laterally and forward, causing the quills to vibrate, producing an eerie sound through the process known as stridulation. Interestingly enough, while stridulation is common throughout the animal kingdom, especially amongst insects and reptiles, it's like how crickets and grasshoppers make their chirping sounds. It's by rubbing different body parts together. The lowland streaked tenruk is the only mammal known to do this. Next up is the small-eyed hammerhead shark, also known as the golden hammerhead or the curry shark. It is a small species of hammerhead shark native to the northeastern coast of South America, from Venezuela to Uruguay. It favors muddy habitats with poor visibility, reflected by its relatively small eyes. Adult males and juvenile individuals are schooling and are generally found in large congregations, while as the adult females are typically solitary. They generally reach around 4 feet in length, weigh around between 20 and 30 pounds. The distinctive coloration of these hammerheads comes from their diet of peonide shrimp, marine catfishes, and the marine catfish eggs, all of which are rich in carotene, which give the shark its golden color. Like all hammerhead sharks, the small-eyed species is viparous, with females giving birth to litters between 5 and 19 pups. Despite being one of the most easily recognizable sharks, the small-eyed hammerhead has had a long history of taxonomic confusion, having been assigned to several different species lineages before finally being ruled its own distinct species in the 1980s. Because of its abundance, the small-eyed hammerhead is economically important to the catch of artisanal gillnet fisheries throughout its range and is often used as food. In recent years, however, overfishing has caused the market declines in its numbers off Trinidad, northern Brazil, and probably elsewhere. This, coupled with its low reproductive rate, has led to the International Union for Conservation of Nature to list it as critically endangered as of 2018. Next up is the western meadowlark, which is a medium-sized icterid bird that can be found nesting on the ground in open grasslands across western and central North America, from southern Canada to northern Mexico. They prefer thinner, drier vegetation areas where they feed upon mostly bugs, seeds, and berries. At an average of 8 inches long and with a wingspan about double that, it is slightly larger than its close relative, the eastern meadowlark, and it can be further distinguished from its eastern cousin via its distinctive watery or flute-like calls. During the spring breeding season, the nest is built by the female soon after arrival to its nesting grounds. The nest is then placed in a concealed location on the ground and can range in form from a simple cup to a partially roofed structure with a runway extending from the nest entrance. Up to 6 eggs are laid on daily intervals, with incubation only beginning after the last egg is laid. The eggs are carefully watched by the female until they hatch, after which the care of the young is primarily transferred to the male. He will continue to feed and care for them until they are ready to fly on their own some 21 days later. A fairly famous species, the western meadowlark, is a state bird of 6 states: Montana, Kansas, Nebraska, North Dakota, Oregon, and Wyoming. Next up is the banana slug, which are terrestrial slugs comprising the genus Aerolimax. They can be found throughout coastal rainforests of North America from central California to southern Alaska, with one species being found in Costa Rica. Although they get their common name typically due to their typically distinctive banana yellow coloration, the color of a banana slug can change depending on its diet, light exposure, and the amount of moisture in their environment, ranging from yellow to black to green and into even to white. At over 9 inches in length, the banana slug is the second largest slug on Earth and can live up to 7 years. These slugs are simultaneous hermaphrodites, which means they reproduce by exchanging sperm with their mate simultaneously impregnating each other. They produce up to 75 translucent eggs which are laid on logs or leaves throughout the forest. Slugs mate and lay eggs throughout the year, with the adults providing no further care for their eggs beyond finding a suitable hiding spot. The eggs are abandoned as soon as the clutch is laid. Like other land mollusks, the banana slug is a detrivore or decomposer, eating a variety of dead plant and animal material, including rotten logs, fallen leaves, animal droppings, and carrion, which they recycle back into the ecosystem. They have a particular fondness for mushrooms and help distribute the spores of dozens of species. Banana slugs themselves are eaten by a variety of predators, including geese, ducks, salamanders, toads, shrews, snakes, and even raccoons, who typically get around the slug's thick, nasty-tasting mucus by rolling them around in moss and leaf litter before eating the entire thing like some kind of weird burrito. Moving on, we have the foxface rabbitfish, which is a species of saltwater fish throughout coral reefs and shallow lagoons in the tropical western Pacific Ocean. At around 10 inches in length, they are a decent-sized herbivorous fish that feed primarily on seaweed and other marine algae. A fiercely territorial species, the foxface will mark out a distinctive territory on the reef, only sharing it with its mate. They typically mate for life, which their life expectancy is about 5 years, and are pelagic spawners, meaning they broadcast spawn their eggs in the water column, and the eggs float around amongst the plankton throughout the ocean before hatching. The foxface rabbitfish has few predators due to its strong dorsal spines that contain a potent venom. And while not lethal to humans, the venom can cause numbness, swelling, and intense pain. And as such, they are commonly not caught for the commercial fish trade, but they are caught for the aquarium fish trade, and they actually often make quite interesting additions to larger saltwater aquariums. Next up is the Burmese python, which is a dark-colored snake with many brown blotches bordering on black down its back, and they have distinctive heat-sensing pits dotting their face. Interestingly, they also have a yellow and white color variant, which is often called banana in coloration, sensing a yellow theme in this episode. They are considered to be the second largest snake on Earth after the green anaconda, with females measuring up to 18 feet in length and around 400 pounds in weight. Males are much smaller, typically reaching only around 9 feet in length and about half that weight. They are native to wetlands, swamps, and river valleys throughout Southeast Asia, ranging from mainland India down to the island of Java. They are nocturnal ambush predators, hunting a wide variety of prey, including rodents, pigs, birds, deer, goats, and even crocodilians. To accomplish this, the snake uses its sharp rearward-facing pointed teeth to seize its prey, and then it wraps its body around the prey, at the same time contracting its muscles, thus killing the prey via constriction. Burmese pythons are often sold as pets, and are made popular by their attractive coloration, different morphs, and easygoing nature. However, they have a rapid growth rate and often exceed 6 feet in length within a year if cared for and fed for properly. By age 4, they will have reached their adult size, and they'll continue growing very slowly throughout their entire lives, which may exceed up to 20 years. Due to their size, they require large, often custom-built enclosures with tons of food, and as a result, many are often released to the wild by unfit keepers that can no longer care for them. Because of this, they have become an invasive species in the United States, particularly Florida, which has launched several campaigns to try and remove their species with varying levels of success due to just how much they impact the local environment, outcompeting native species. And our extinctive animal of the week, sorry, is Thyraxodon, which is an extinct genus of cynodots, most commonly regarded by its species T. lithorinus, which lived in what is now South Africa and Antarctica during the early Triassic period, roughly 251 to 225 million years ago. Thyraxodon lived just after the Permian-Triassic mass extinction event and marks a transition period between the more primitive synapses of the Permian and the smaller mammals of the later Triassic and Jurassic. It is also known to be a great survivor due to the prominence and how much they are found. Burrows, proliferance, burrows. The 3-foot-long, 30-pound Thyraxodon, or is it Thyronaxodon? Thyronaxodon would have had a lifestyle similar to that of its more advanced mammal descendants. A small synapsid that hides in a burrow during the day and only goes out at night to hunt insects and small reptiles. This is in order to steer clear of the early predatory dinosaurs and the crocodile-like rhinosuchids that were most active during the daytime. In fact, it even had a few mammalian features, such as fur for insulation and whiskers to help better sense its environment. Like today's monotremes, which are today's egg-laying mammals, they would have laid eggs, but after hatching, the young would be utterly dependent on their parents and spend their first 3 months feeding on special milk glands on the mother's stomach. As well as this, it had a few adaptations for living in a burrow. The legs are remarkably short and erect, the tail is short, its body is much more long than it is wide, and generally its overall stoutness. This would kind of built like a badger. Not only does this allow Thyronaxodon to slink through the tunnels of its burrow with ease, but also allows for resting and turning around comfortably in positions within its burrow. It is unknown exactly why Thyronaxodon went extinct, but it's most likely due to the environmental pressures driving mammals and their relatives to become smaller and faster during the age of dinosaurs. As always, take care to my guys, gals, and non-binary pals.